everyone, Caroline here. Now I've just got back from a walk and I'm feeling a bit cold and it's time for my lunch, so I thought, oh, what could I make that would warm me up? So I've decided I'm going to make some soup. Now this is a soup we often make at school with the vegetables we grow in our garden. But you can make it with any vegetables you've got at home. Any vegetables that you might find at the bottom of your fridge at the end of the week. It's a really good way of using all those vegetables up. Let's see what I'm going to use today. Now, the things that you're going to need to make your soup are some garlics. You need 2 garlics and some spring onions. And if you don't have spring onions, you can use normal onions. But apart from that, you can use any vegetables that you find. So I'm going to use, let's see what I've got. Now, I've got this is called a swede. Now, I had that roasted a few days ago and I've got half of it left, so I'm going to use that in my soup. I've got a lovely yellow pepper because I like those, they're nice and sweet. There was a little bit of broccoli left in my fridge from when we had it earlier in the week, so I'm going to use that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 carrots I'm going to use. I've got some celery. Now you don't have to use fresh vegetables, you can use frozen vegetables as well. So I've got some peas and sweet corn from my freezer. But you can use any vegetables you like, okay? Let's see what we need to do to turn these into some soup. We're going to need some more ingredients for our soup. We're going to need passata, which is like pureed up tomatoes. You can use a tin of tomatoes if you like. We're going to use some soup pasta. Now that's little tiny pastas. But if you haven't got any of that, you can use some broken up spaghetti or squashed up bits of big pasta if you like. You need some olive oil. Vegetable oil would work just as well. And you need some vegetable stock. Or you can use a stock cube or stock powder. It's up to you, whatever you've got in your house to make your soup taste good. And the other thing we're going to need to go in our soup is some basil. Now this is basil, this came from a basil plant. But if you haven't got that herb, you can use any herbs you like. You could use dried herbs, frozen herbs, whatever herbs you've got to make your soup taste good. Let's have a look at all the equipment you're going to need to make your soup. You need a saucepan. You need some scales to weigh things to make sure you've got the right amount. You need a measuring jug. You're going to need a garlic crusher, a knife or a peeler, a pair of scissors perhaps, a spoon, a grater and a chopping board to chop everything up on. It's a good idea to get everything ready before you start and then you're all ready to go. So once we've got everything ready, we need to get ready. So you need to wear your apron to keep your clothes nice and clean. You need to wash your hands with lots of soap and water. And then you need to get all your vegetables ready. You need to make sure they're washed, clean and ready to eat, and ready to prepare. So I've done all that. So let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is chop up my spring onions. Now, a really easy way to do this is with a pair of scissors. So you need a clean pair of scissors to do this. So you peel off the outside of your spring onions because that's sometimes a bit chewy and not very nice. And then we're going to use the scissors to snip them into little tiny pieces. We use our scissors to snip them. Take those bits off the end. You don't want to eat the roots. You just want to eat the lovely oniony bits. And we're going to cut them into little tiny pieces. You can do one at a time. Oh, they do fly everywhere. Be careful. Or you can do lots together at the same time. So once you've chopped those up, you need to peel the vegetables that need to have the peel taken off. I'm going to use my peeler to do that. So let's get my peeler. I'm going to run it down the carrot very carefully because remember the peeler is sharp to peel off all the skin. This is quite fun. So I've peeled all my carrots and taken the tops off, and I've also peeled the swede. I'm going to put all the bits that I didn't want in my compost bin. Do you have one of these in your house? There, all ready to be collected. So now you need to chop your carrots up. You might need an adult to help you with these because these are really hard to chop. So you need to cut them into little tiny pieces. So cut them into slices and then into little tiny cubes. So you've got little small bits like that. Can you see? adult can help you do that bit, and you can do it together until all your carrots are done, if you're putting carrots in your soup. Okay, so I've chopped up all my carrots and my swede and my onions so they're nice and small, ready for my soup. Now I'm ready to do some more vegetables. Let's do the pepper. Okay, so we need to cut that in half and take out the seeds. Can you see all the seeds inside? So I'm going to take the seeds out, and then I'm going to cut that into little tiny pieces to go in our soup. I'm doing all the hard vegetables first. So let's cut it into strips. Now you've got an adult to help you with this bit. And you can either use your knife to cut them into little bits, or you could use your scissors. The next thing we're going to do is prepare our garlic. Take the skin off the garlic. So put it on your board. Then you're going to use a spoon to go on the top and push down. And then all of the skin comes off. Can you see? And you're left with the garlic ready to go in the crusher. Put the skin in the compost bin. And let's put the garlic in the crusher. You need to do that with both your garlics. We're not going to crush it yet. We're going to wait until we get to the cooker to do that. So the next thing you have to get ready is your softer vegetables that don't take so long to cook. So like my broccoli, I'm going to get that ready. I'm going to take it off. It's like a little tree. I'm going to chop it into small pieces, ready to go in my soup. Got pieces about that big. Chop yours all up. So now I've got all my vegetables ready and my peas and sweet corn. I'm going to get all the other ingredients ready. Okay, now I'm going to get all the rest of my ingredients ready. I'm going to weigh out my pasta now. I need 100 grams of this. You might need an adult to help you open the packet. We don't want to spill it on the floor, do we? And I'm going to use my scales to measure how much pasta I need. I'm going to wait until I get 100 on my scales. Should we watch together? Okay, so it's set to 0. I'm going to pour the pasta in until it gets to 100. Let's watch it. Can you see the numbers changing? Oh, 57, 60. Oh, 78, 80. A little bit more. Get to 100. Whoa, we're just over. That's 101. Let's see if we can get it exact. 100 grams. Can you see? 100 grams of pasta. The next thing we're going to get ready is the basil. I'm going to chop that into little pieces. I'm going to use my scissors again, but you can use a knife. Chop it into little pieces to go in our soup. Make it taste good. Oh, I love the smell of basil. Wish you could smell this. It smells so good. But you could use parsley or thyme or a bay leaf or rosemary, whatever you like. There, all chopped up. All ready for our soup. Now we're going to get the stock ready now. So we've got to work out how much water we need. We have to use a measuring jug to make sure we get the right amount. And I'm reading the instructions on the side of my box here, and it says that I need 2 teaspoons of vegetable stock powder. So let's put those in, count those in. 1 and another one makes 2. Now you might use a stock cube, but you have to look at the instructions on your packet to see how to make that up. And then I've got to add some hot water. You'll need to get an adult to help you with this because the water is hot, hot, hot. So I'm going to pour that in up to the line that says 500, so I know I've got the right amount. And then I'm going to stir it to mix it all in. Now this is very hot, so definitely get an adult to help you with this bit. I think we're ready, almost. Now the last thing we need to do is grate our cheese to go on the soup at the end if you would like some. So you need to get your cheese grater and grate your cheese. I'm not going to have cheese on mine today, but if you would like to, that's what you need to do next. Okay, now we're ready to start cooking. So the first thing we need to do is put our pan on the stove and turn on the heat. We're going to put some olive oil in the bottom of the pan to cook our vegetables just a little bit. You can use vegetable oil or butter, whatever you like really. Okay, I'm going to turn on the heat. Now this is what you need to do with an adult because the cooker gets very, very hot, so we need to stay safe. So make sure an adult helps you do this bit. It's very, very important. I'm going to heat my oil up. I'm going to have it on a medium heat, so not too hot. And do you remember all those hard vegetables we chopped up? Do you remember? The carrots, I get my spoon, the carrots and the onions and the celery and the swede. Oh, can you hear it sizzle? It's all going to go in the pan. Stir it around. To start to cook it, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Need to cook that for a couple of minutes till they start to soften. Okay, and when the vegetables are starting to cook a little bit, we're going to add our garlic. Remember we put our garlic in the garlic crusher? You've got to squeeze it with both your hands to get the garlic to come out. Oh, did you see it? There it is. Into the pot. You can do it onto a plate first if you like, and then put it in your soup, might be easier. Stir that all in. That's going to make your soup taste really, really good. Cook that for about another minute or so. Okay, now we're going to put our passata in, or if you've got tinned tomatoes or chopped tomatoes, you can put those in as well. We're going to pour that in. It's very, very thick. And then you need to put your stock in as well. Remember the stock we mixed up in the jug? It's all ready. Oh, everything's gone a bit quiet. Okay. So there it is, all in the pan, and we're going to bring it to the boil. And that's when little bubbles start to show in the liquid. So you've got to keep an eye on it. Can you see it's starting to boil? Can you see all those little bubbles? That means it's ready to add the pasta. So let's pour the pasta in that we measured. There we go. And we're going to stir that in. We've got to cook that for about 7 minutes. So I think I'm going to put my timer on. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on first. Oh, let's turn it again. Here's my timer. 5 minutes first, and we're going to make it 7 minutes. So let's keep going until it changes to number 7. 6 and a bit more. There, 7 minutes. Oh, that's my timer. It's time to put the softer vegetables in. The ones that don't take so long to cook. So I'm going to put my broccoli in. So if you use things like courgettes or beans or anything like that, or cabbage or spinach, now's the time to put it in. I'm going to put my peas and sweet corn in as well. Now I'm going to cook it until the pasta is soft. So you need to keep an eye on it. Okay, well I think my pasta's cooked. So now it's time to put the last thing in. The basil. Do you remember we chopped the basil up to go in? So whatever herbs you're putting in, you might want to put those in now. So I'm going to sprinkle in my herbs. Oh, that's going to make it taste so good. It smells delicious. If you don't have any herbs, you might want to put a spoonful of pesto in. If you've got any pesto in the fridge, that makes it taste really delicious. I think that's ready. If your soup's too thick, you might like to add a little bit more water. Do you want to see what mine looks like? So there it is, all ready with all those vegetables in. Oh, this is going to be so yummy. This is just what I need on a cold day. Oh, look, can you see it steaming up my camera? I'm going to let it cool down a bit. It's a bit too hot to eat now. But in a few minutes, it will be ready to serve.